Welcome back to day 88 of our chess journey to 1500 ELO on chess.com. Let's just jump on ahead here and find an opponent. I'll make sure to charge my laptop now because it's currently down to 12% battery. We'll play the Sicilian against Chief 1959 from Colombia. We get this, which is pretty much a delayed Bowdler in a sense here. E6, I think, is the best move here. This is a maneuver as well, I think. And this move prevents us from trapping the bishop on b3. So now I think knight to f6, hitting the pawn. I don't expect d4 to be played, and now we get d3, which is perfectly logical. a6 makes sense here now, followed by b5 perhaps. Opening up the bishop, we can get our knight out. I still want to reserve the option here of going g6 if possible, to get our bishop onto this diagonal, but it's currently somewhat blunted, and this bishop could trade off for ours. So instead, let's come out here, grab some space, and develop our pieces on the queen side. The bishop comes back here preemptively. Still, I think b5 is a decent move. Let me just have a quick look at this. Doesn't quite work because we get the pawn, I think. The knight comes out. What happens here? Just want to make sure we don't play too many pawn moves. This does not quite seem to work. It's probably a bit too greedy. So instead, I guess developing the bishop here seems logical. Knight to d7 might be okay as well, although I prefer getting the bishop out first here. Applying some pressure down on the e4 pawn. Now once again this pawn can't be moved, despite this knight protecting this pawn, because we hit the pawn here 2 times. Bishop to e7 is, well, perfectly logical. I think knight to d7 makes more sense than knight to c6. I don't see a lot of great maneuvering squares here. This defends this and allows some great jumps here. So let's come up here with the knight here. I'm trying to play a bit quickly, because we don't want to keep on getting into time trouble every single game. This is an indication our opponent probably wants to push the pawn here. I think if it's pushed, let's say we go here, pawn is pushed, I guess we take, we might get this kind of a position, but then I think bishop here and our diagonal pressure looks quite okay against the king. So let's come out. I'm pretty confident here, at least. Quite confident. We just take the pawn if it's pushed. Although there might be this move. No, there is not, because of the knight, which could have taken here, but now it can't. The knight rather repositions. Now I'm considering h6, disallowing this and this. And there, now we have this rather, because it forces this, and then we can take, which should win a pawn. Just looking at alternatives here, but this has got me convinced for now. h3. Looking at g4 here for our opponent. That seems a bit too aggressive. Let's castle, finish our development, and take it from there. The knight comes up to this square. I'm looking at a move like c4. I want to undermine this pawn. Although currently it's quite well protected. So do we have any options here? We could get the queen out, doubling the rooks, or rather connecting the rooks, and maybe threatening to play c4. This also defends against this pawn push, because here at the end of the line we can take with the queen. So let's play this. It seems like a good multi-purpose move here, defending our pieces, holding stuff together, preparing this perhaps, defending against this, getting onto this diagonal. Yeah, surely this has to be a good move. At least I hope it is. If not, I guess we'll just let Stockfish shame us. Well, this was apparently a delayed Alapin. When did it transpose? Here, okay. The knight moves to h2. This seems quite slow to me though. Surely this is not the correct approach. At least I don't expect it to be. Let's have a look here. If takes and takes. This pawn still can't be taken. This can be pushed now because the knight moved back. So which alternatives do we have? We're a bit crowded here. Maybe knight to d5. It's just an idea I have here, jumping in and maybe trying to make our opponent play this move. But does that benefit us? I think instead we might be looking at getting our rooks into better positions. Something like rook to c8 here, rook a to c8 rather. Seems to be okay. Maybe we can reposition the bishop back here. At least we do threaten opening stuff up. This. Okay, our opponent here is trying to create an attack against our king, bringing the pieces over. So do we allow it? Let's have a look at this. Now d4 is a response. It's definitely a response. I don't know how good though. Probably okay. I still have quite a cold here, so I don't hope I'm sounding too nasal today. If I am, I do have to apologize. Can we improve this bishop? Maybe. I think it might actually be time here to play d5. What happens if the pawn is pushed? Then we take it. I think this is the correct moment to play the d5 break. Takes, and we take with the bishop. I think we want this pawn here to blunt our opponent's pawn. So now they want to trade off material, open up some diagonals. We don't want to take because this invites the queen into an attack, which is not quite ideal. I think we want to take here though, after which, well, this could be played, but then we replace our knight like this. Anyways, let's take here first. Opening up some pieces. This is taken. This pawn is quite well defended. So which options do we have here? I'm trying to look at what follows here. Maybe we just come up here. And then the queen is there for free. Maybe this move. Occupying this diagonal. If this is played, we still have this. Or maybe now I'm realizing this might be strong. Alternatively, this move might be okay. But what happens here? And then I guess we take the knight and play this perhaps. Seems okay to me. We'll get this rook involved and create an extra against the queen. The queen comes up here. This is defended 4 times. Now is this a move? I don't quite see anything concrete here. This. Don't see a follow-up. I think I'd like to trade off this knight and replace it with this, because it would help us double up the rooks, I think. That's my logic here at least. I'm not seeing anything else. The queen takes, so let's replace the knight. We have to hit the queen here before this is threatened because of the pin coming down here. Now the queen can't remain on the g file, so it has to move. Is h4 a move? Probably not. Should lose to this move. Or queen to h4 rather. There is a discovery and we win material. So the queen can't go here or here. Well, it could go there maybe, but it comes back. Now e5 is threatened. So maybe we'll come up with our queen here and disallow the move. Then this might be played. But is that a good move or not? It might be good. But it does leave the king somewhat exposed as well. I don't quite want to play this. Now is this a move? Looking to play this. This comes with the immediate threat here of taking the knight as well, giving us a tempo to place our bishop on e5. It takes away this move for me, or rather it takes away the option of playing this move, and it takes away the option of pushing the pawn. Or does it? No, it doesn't. It gets forked. I miscalculated. So how do we respond here? Let's have a look. It's a bit difficult to deal with this pawn actually. Simply because this doesn't work. Or well, it does in fact, because the pawn can't be pushed, or well, it can. I was going to say the queen can't take, but of course you can, because we have to take with our queen. Okay, so instead, do we have to play this? I don't quite want to. It allows this move to be played, and it's just not that pleasant. So let's, I guess, double rooks here. If this is played, maybe this. We could come back here and take it from there. I don't quite like this move because it kind of blocks our position and we don't have a good move for our knight here. But the bishop is played up. Let's have a quick look. Is this a blunder or not? What I'm looking at is hitting the pawn here. Maybe now we are allowed to play this. Which might be a good move. I think I'd like to play the move now because it's possible. This pawn is defended. Now this can't be pushed because the bishop blocks the knight, or the queen and the rook rather. So this looks playable now. We can't take here unluckily because it's protected. Otherwise this pawn might have fallen on this move. This is not playable, so how does our opponent respond? I'd like to get this kind of a configuration, which does seem to take away a lot of the sting from our opponent's position. This our opponent intends to take here, but then we have an in-between move before taking here. But then if the queen takes, this might come at the end. But then I think we can take this pawn. I think this works out. Our opponent might have to take with the f-pawn, which is done. And here we either take here, which, well, it's a free pawn, or we take the pawn. Yeah, I think we take the pawn. And I think we take it with the knight, because it threatens this. Which looks good to me. This, and we have this. This pawn is protected. So I think we're up a pawn here. As long as I didn't miss anything. Which luckily I don't think I did after seeing this move. Now I think this makes sense to me, because we don't want this, because it disallows us from taking this pawn at the end. So let's follow this. This might be played. We'll take here, but why not take first then? Okay, let's not overcomplicate. This might be played. No, this is played. But here, here, and we block right. Seems like our opponent loses a piece. I don't see the tactic. And if I don't see the tactic, I won't respect the move. Oh. Our opponent was... the bishop was just hanging in one move. Okay. I guess that's also a move. I did not see our opponent being able to take our piece. Let's come in and hit some stuff. This is not playable because of this. This works though, I guess. Which move is best? I think we might have to give up on the h-pawn for the time being. But now this defense, okay. So our opponent here is playing quite solidly. is our best move? This might be an idea I was going to say, but our opponent plays this, so instead maybe getting our rook into the action. If the rook moves, our opponent gets tripled pawns, and if the queen moves away from the defense of the rook, it's a free rook. Surely this is winning, right? And then we just infiltrate. This has to be a winning endgame. I can't see how it's not. We have the only open file. Those pawns here can't be pushed. The rook can't quite come in for any threats, and we have the infiltrations, or the ideas at least, of infiltrating. Our king rather, is more active. If our opponent wants to come up with a king, we have mated one. Well, this is played, which, well, it makes sense. This might be a move, so let's play it. We get a free pawn. Let's come up with this pawn. Then we might have this. The king centralizes ever so slightly. I don't quite know if this trade was good though, but we could just be making some weaknesses for our opponent. This is an idea I'm looking at. The rook can't go there. Now I guess this looks okay, playing for this idea with our king side majority. Takes, 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 doesn't work. Maybe we'll come down, cut the king off, which I guess we were already doing. But now this might be a threat. I think this is a winning endgame. We're up a pawn. I think, I'm pretty sure at least the 2-on-1 should be winning. Let's push. And I think we should be first here. Yeah, this looks winning. we win by a couple of tempi rather. So this looks like a win to me. Once again, we have an opponent here with almost 15 minutes. If they used their time, this might have looked quite different. I think a lot of people forget to spend their time in rapid games and play as though it was not rapid at all. We just get a queen and there is nothing our opponent can do. They resign. Thanks for the game. Well played to our opponent. Let's jump on ahead into the game review. So what does the game review say? We played with 81.9 today and our opponent played with 76.3. I see we had a lot of inaccuracies, mistakes and misses here. We'll review those and have a look at the game. This was all normal, good moves. The computer liked our moves here. D5 was best, but it's a matter of 0.03 difference. This was still good. All of our moves were okay. G6 was okay here. I guess the computer did not quite like the passivity of our bishop here. H6 was not best. Why was this good? Because of this. Okay, and we just have a strong center and open files to play with. Didn't see this, but it makes sense. We played like this, just played solidly. We maneuvered, so did our opponent. Here we should have broken the center open and played d5 earlier than we did. Which makes a lot of sense. I just did not identify early enough that the d5 push was in fact playable. We played it on this move though. Should have taken the knight first. And if this was played, we should have jumped into the center and repositioned. D4 was okay as well, just grabbing space. This was still quite okay, but this was bad. Should have played this move. I guess maybe having ideas along this diagonal. Our c-pawn never quite hangs, and it's just a bit more solid perhaps. This might have been a bit too slow. We got this, and this was bad. Why does this work for our opponent? Oh, because of this desperado. We have a desperado move as well. And then it's just pandemonium from here. So we played an inaccurate move. Should have played slightly differently. It wasn't quite capitalized on. Should have taken here first. This just lost the game. Oh yeah, this is quite bad. This would have lost the game. Can't defend the bishop. Queen hangs. This and the bishop is taken is what I was going to say, but apparently this is a move. And this, oh, it wouldn't have been executed like this. So maybe it was not that bad, because if our opponent didn't see taking this pawn here, yeah, it's just not an easy line to spot. So I don't quite mind having missed that sequence, but ideally I would have spotted it. This was good. Should have Desperado sacked. As I mentioned, I genuinely did not see this bishop hanging. I thought this had to be played first, and we had to come back, which is kind of funny. If I'd seen this, might have played this move. Or this, or this. Maybe this looked okay as well. Either way, we lost a pawn here, opened up the king. This was horrendously bad because of this, and I guess there is just pressure against our king. If this was played, this is horrendously bad, so I guess we're forced into passivity. We got this, and this was just a winning endgame. From this point, I think we did not have a lot of inaccuracies, but this was not the best move apparently. Oh, I missed this idea. Okay. Doesn't matter all that much, because either way we were in a winning endgame. Here I was looking at what would have happened if our opponent played like this, for example, because we're up one pawn, but it's not quite felt. Well, apparently it is according to the evaluation, but it's an isolated pawn in the center of the board. And our opponent took here, and this made our conversion quite simple. They resigned here, and we got the win. So that's our game for today. Thanks a lot to Chief1959 from Colombia for the game. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. This has been our game for today, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.